Yo, what's going on, guys? It is Foxy98 here. Welcome back to a brand new video for you guys today here on the channel. Today we are here with F1 2018 gameplay showcase, and we're here on one of the one video that we've actually found which showcases this one. So this is F1 2018 gameplay, and as you can see, it is not actually my video. It's actually a YouTube video. It's from Vandal.net. Shout out to one of my subscribers who actually went ahead and DM'd me on Instagram and told me about this video. So I thought I'd go ahead and basically kind of react to it, break it down, show you guys what we can see, and go from there. Now, obviously, in this video, it is a Spanish commentary, and also there is music that is played in the background for this video. I am therefore muting this video because I don't want to hear Spanish commentary over the background of my video. If you obviously want to go watch the Spanish commentary, feel free to come to this video and watch it yourself. But without further ado, let's get into it, and let's pretty much break this down then. So, we start things off with some F1 2018 start line. Wow, that was actually quite a quick start of things, to be fair. So we've got a Sauber going at the top of Eau Rouge there, some pit stop. This is pretty much just like the high trailer stuff, because I know it sort of slows down a little bit. The replay cams actually look quite nice and fresh overall to start with. I'm liking the look of it. It looks very nice. First of all, what we can notice is that the McLaren is running the old chassis. Now, if any of you guys are new to Formula 1 and are new to the Formula 1 games, Codemasters go ahead and they scan and build these models as soon as every single car is released. From there on, they go ahead and they do the full-on development work on these cars, and they make sure that the initial phase models are correct. If there are any cars that go through any sort of major structural change throughout the entirety of the year, Codemasters will go ahead and update that in a future patch. So don't be warned, guys. This is the McLaren livery, the McLaren car that we'll be seeing at the start of 2018. However, about a month or two into the game, Codemasters will release a patch and we will see the new version of the McLaren. So just to kind of put that one out there, and we've literally just got a load of high-flying images of all of these cars and going around as well. So the first one then, obviously, as you can see, we've got gameplay here. You can see that the middle cascade of the halo is now gone. So obviously this is to give the drivers and you as a player a better view whilst driving with it. And we're on board with Fernando Alonso here at the Monaco Grand Prix. And one thing to actually note, I've only just spotted this as well, is down here on the mini-map, you can see that they've actually changed it slightly. So obviously beforehand, you would have just had a yellow dot, which would have been your car, and then a bunch of white dots. Now this time around, they've changed it so that you can get different coloured dots so you know exactly which car you're catching up to. So we can see here that we've got a Ferrari in the lead, we've got two Mercedes cars, two Red Bulls, the other Ferrari, and what looks like to be one of the other McLarens and stuff. So some very nice new feature there that I haven't even spotted. And this is the first time I'm seeing it. So you can see there the arrow showing on board there from itself. We've got Max Verstappen here on board at the Bahrain Grand Prix in the Red Bull from a very weird perspective. I'm not sure why they're doing it in that perspective. And you can see, look, Vandal impressions, this is somebody else. So this is the career mode then. So this is, I believe this is Emma. I think she's basically had a little bit of a characteristic change compared to last year. Then we've also got Claire here. Now Claire is the woman that's going to be doing all of the interviews throughout F1 2018. And she's going to be the one that's basically putting you under all of the pressure. And she's going to be horrible. And that looks like a new version of Chris. Doesn't look like Chris no more. I think Chris has been abandoned. So can we get a rip Chris, everyone? Unless he's still alive, then obviously. We don't need to worry about that. And there you can see is the interview stage. Now, unfortunately, it's all in Spanish, so I can't really, like, show what the questions are going to be said. If you can translate this from Spanish into English and chuck it in the comment section, then you know exactly what it is. But as soon as you pick an answer, obviously you're tight on time as well to pick. You can see here that the chassis department has now physically changed, and it looks like it's happier with what you have said. Be careful when it comes to interviews on what you say, because it will affect different departments and it may cause things to go wrong, and you've got to be careful when you go ahead and state them. Here you can see is a look at what happens then after the practice session by the looks of things. So we've got resource points that obviously come in. We all know about resource points. They've been in the game now since F1 2016, and you can see here an objective to complete, adding the resource points. And we can now see the rivalry section. So what happens this time around? around, and I've got horrible hiccups at the moment, you can see that your main driver will be situated in the middle right here. You're always going to be rivaled against your teammate. Now, in previous seasons, you'd have one rivalry against your teammate, and from then on in, you'd get rivals against different component drivers across the grid. Now in F1 2018, you're going to have the same teammate driver for the entirety of your time at the team, and then you'll have a third rival, which will be from a different team. So that's how it goes, and you can see how this guy is currently losing in his quest, and you can see here another look at the podium celebrations then. Bottas winning the Grand Prix ahead of the guy in the Red Bull and then Kimi Raikkonen. So you can kind of see it there. And then once again, we've got the R&D tree that we saw in F1 2017, but it looks slightly different. Durability remains the same, as you can see here. Pretty much everything there, so you've got to be careful on that durability front. But you can see for the rest of the R&D tree, it doesn't show you the rest of the R&D tree. This will probably, I'm guessing, will show up when you actually move on forwards. And there is a massive thing to state about the R&D. Coming into F1 2018, by the end of the season, there is now big rule changes that will happen at the end of the season. If you go ahead and spend all of your R&D points, it may be a possibility that some form of rule will change, meaning that you'll lose all the performance of a specific section of your car. However, if you save those resource points, it might be that you can start this season with a stronger car, meaning that a Sauber car, or the Williams for example, might be terrible obviously as it is right now. Next season, it might actually be the best, and you can see here that we've got the Mercedes ahead of the Force India, ahead of the Williams, and then Ferrari, Haas, Alfa Romeo, and then we've got the Renaults and the McLarens and the Red Bull, Toro Rosso, Honda. I kind of don't really agree with that performance chart. Ferrari are actually, for me personally, in terms of F1 2018, I think Ferrari have actually got the best power unit on the grid. So we'll have to see if they make any updates to that. And you can see here, we've got the Red Bull team ahead of Mercedes and Ferrari at the top. Renault, McLaren, Haas, Red Bull, Toro Rosso, Honda, Force India, Williams, and Alfa Romeo with the worst aero, which is a bit dull. I don't think they have the worst aero at all. But anyway, you can see this guy got a 2-second time penalty for crashing into Gasly. You saw the HUD then just at the bottom of your screen there, so a slight little change obviously to the HUD as we would have expected with the tyre changes and all that stuff. So you can kind of see how that works out. And this guy doesn't really know how to drive properly, but we'll let him off. And you can see the HUD then down on the bottom of your screens now in a much more better example of how things work. And you can see the Ers deployment, the blue bar there. As why, I'm not sure this is a specific camera. Of course, I can't control these cameras. Whoever had the opportunity to play this game, first of all, I'm really jealous. Secondly, I don't know why they've decided to do it like this, but I'm kind of just breaking down as much as I can see and going on from there. Is he going to corner cut? Nah, he's all right. He's good. We'll let him off. So as you can see then, having a look here, this is what the driver view looks like with the Halo middle component situated on the car, so you can see how it looks there. So you can see why it's got the option to get rid of it. Can be a little bit annoying, so obviously if you prefer to have if you want a racing cockpit cam and you want to get rid of that middle component, feel free to do it up to you. I think this is qualifying by the looks thing, but you can see the delta time at the top, very similar to F1 2016 actually, and 2017, a bit of a mixture of combined, so it sort of goes up in high delta forms in a sort of like a little split-second motion, and then when you're sort of like only just gaining a tiny little bit or so forth, he's literally just lost all of his time going through that corner. That is actually depressing. So I don't know why he's broken down so many gears, but clearly he's not played this game before. So yeah, it's always the annoying thing about these F1 2018 F1 showcase reveals. They're never really fast drivers. So you can see here all the options for the system. And actually, one thing I want to point out in the race settings, now obviously this is all in Spanish, so I cannot read any of it. What I can read, though, is the Ers Deployment System here. You do have the option to have that on manual, or you can change that to automatic. That is of your preference. The ERS system comes in 5 different modes, and all of those modes will be used via the player. If you don't know and you don't understand the ERS modes and you're finding it too difficult, you can therefore go ahead and change that ERS mode setting, put it on automatic, and it will do it for you. So I presume if you have it on manual, there'll be a big performance game. Here we've got some wet weather conditions now. We're on board with Lewis Hamilton here in the Mercedes-Benz around the Spanish Grand Prix. Of course, Hamilton will be my teammate in my F1 2018 career mode because I am doing it with Mercedes. And then here, he's sort of just demonstrating what happens when you have crash. Fair play, that is actually a sick crash. I'll give him that. That was actually quite fun. So he shows you what happens here when a crash happens. So you can see there's the HUD there at the bottom. Same old thing if you crash. And then the same old thing, there is the flashback feature as well. So if you guys wanted to enable flashbacks, you can go ahead and do so. Next up, of course, as you can see here, and I'm trying to point everything out as I go along, you can see that the short circuits are making a return from F1 2017, so you'll be able to race at the Bahrain International Short Circuit, the British Short Circuit, the Japanese Short Circuit, and also the USA Short Circuit as well, so they're staying from next year, which is quite nice to see. And we're going to go to Paul Ricard, which is brand new on the calendar, so this is sort of what it looks like. It's a little bit of an overview. And as you can see then, we've got the menu for the classic cars. So we've got obviously the Williams here, the Ferrari, the Renault, and you can see how the menu screen sort of looks here. And obviously we've got the Brawn there, and then we've got the 70s cars as well, which you can go through. I'm guessing this is just the selection that they were given. So as you can see, we're going to go on board with the 1992 not the Rothmans Williams Renault, because it wasn't Rothmans then. It was just a normal Williams Renault. And as you can see, just going ahead in the classic cars, you can see that once again we've got the random computer generated names. Of course, there is no form of licensing to get these former World Championship drivers in their respective cars, so it's going to go ahead and just have computer generated names, which honestly isn't really a problem, because at the end of the day, just driving a classic car is good enough. And as you can see, this is sort of the introduction screen then for when you get into a Grand Prix weekend itself. Which it's looking very, very good. I can say that for a fact. This game is looking very, very nice indeed. And Claire, once again, sort of doing stuff there. And you can see here, once again, on board with Lewis Hamilton here at the Spanish Grand Prix in the wet conditions. A little bit of damage to his front wing, which you would have seen on the HUD. And you can sort of see how things work. Back on with the classic cars then. Still with the Williams here at Paul Ricard. And this is definitely a track I'm going to be looking forward to. And this is a track where I'm going to be doing as many off-track layout challenges possible if they haven't blocked them, because I will go ahead and I will try and find as many as I possibly can. Because don't worry guys, I'm going to be reverting back to literally every single challenge I've done in F1 2017 back again in F1 2018. So I'll be doing obviously mostly career modes, and then on the weekends I'll be doing the challenges, and then again eventually I'll be making it so the challenge is my #1 priority. But as you can see here, I'll jump on board with Verstappen. It's just a normal Grand Prix. Again, why this camera is being used, I don't know. You can see the DRS there formally open on his qualifying run here. And another bubble shot here with one of the Red Bulls of probably, no, it's his own actual driver self. You can see the HUD there at the bottom, so you can see a couple of things changed. So we've got obviously the fuel mixture. We've got the brake bias and the differential. We've got the downforce that you want. So when you come into a pit stop, obviously, you can go ahead and change, you know, your downforce, get a little bit of clicker front wing in there. Obviously, we've got the front wing repair, so you can have that to automatic yes, no. Tyre selection for the pit stop, so obviously that's there as well. And the final option here is the Ers Mode. So if you're racing this in manual, you're going to have these 5 options here which you can use throughout the Grand Prix. And be sure you're going to be using this HUD quite a lot in game to obviously look through all of these. So be careful with that one. Obviously, if you're on automatic, it's not going to make a difference for you. But obviously, if you are racing with manual, which I will be, for an example, I'm going to have to make sure I pay attention to that specific screen. And once again, another view then of the halo just not being there, kind of, and a little bit more racing around. And here we've got one of the Ferraris now. I think this is the O2 Ferrari. I might be wrong, but it kind of looks similar to it. And once again, here's another shot then of the interviews. See, this time around we've got 2 selections, and then we've got ahead and have a look at here. And here is the contract screen. So this is where we can go ahead and start requesting new contracts. Unfortunately, as it's all in Spanish, I can't really read it, but as you can see, we've got all the contract stuff here, so you can go ahead and try and get a contract for a different team whilst driving. Or what you can also do is you can try and go ahead and push and extend and make your contract better for yourself by going ahead and trying to get reductions on the R&D, trying to get more resource points or anything like that. However, in Sacrifice, you're going to have to try and state that you're going to hit these objectives. The team may go ahead and say, all right, hit those objectives, here's your contract. The team may come and throw that contract back in your face and say, no, we don't think you're going to hit those objectives. You're not getting what you want. So be careful in the contract screens as well when you go ahead and do these. And here's another look then at the Renault. I think they probably use these camera angles, try and get the best look of these cars. But they're looking nice and fresh. I'm liking the look of the game. I cannot wait to get F1 2018. And as you can see, the celebration in the cockpit there for grabbing a podium of P2, and that is the end of the video, and of course is the link. Here's vandal.net. This is the YouTube video that I've used, so obviously this is where I got it from. But guys, that's going to be it for my F1 2018 showcase. But if you guys have enjoyed it, feel free to drop it a like, subscribe if you're new around here as well, and I will see you guys next time for a brand new video. Take care all guys, peace.